Chelsea just sent a message to the entire football world. 3-0, Barcelona, at Stamford Bridge, under the lights of the Champions League. This wasn't just a win, this was a statement, a declaration that the Blues are serious contenders this season. Enzo Maresca's young squad dominated one of the biggest clubs in Europe like it was a training session, and now everyone has to wake up and realize that Chelsea are absolutely back. Welcome back, Chelsea fans! Where are you watching this historic victory from? Drop your country in the comments below, and don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe, because we've got all the Chelsea content you need. Now let's break down exactly what we learned from this absolutely stunning performance. The first thing that jumped out at everyone watching was the complete and utter dominance of Chelsea's midfield. Moises Caicedo was an absolute monster in the middle of the park, and the way he handled Frenkie de Jong was nothing short of masterclass. Every time Barcelona tried to build through their midfield, there was Caicedo snapping into tackles, intercepting passes, and winning every single duel. The Ecuadorian was everywhere on that pitch. He swept up everything that wasn't already covered, and honestly, Barcelona's midfield looked terrified of him. But it wasn't just Caicedo who bossed the middle. Enzo Fernandez was playing like he was conducting a symphony out there. The Argentine was unlucky not to get on the score sheet after having 2 goals disallowed in the first half, but his contribution went way beyond just trying to score. Enzo was breaking Barcelona's defensive lines with his passes all night long. Every time he got the ball, you could see him scanning, looking for that killer pass, and more often than not, he found it. His vision and passing range were on another level. He played that beautiful through ball to set up Liam Delap for Chelsea's 3rd goal, showing that unselfish side of his game that makes him so special. And then there's Reece James playing in midfield. Yes, you read that right. The captain was deployed in the middle of the park alongside Caicedo and Enzo, and it worked brilliantly. James brought physicality, experience, and tactical intelligence to that midfield. Maresca explained that he needed more physicality in the middle to deal with Barcelona's midfielders, and James delivered exactly that. He had 1 or 2 hairy moments early on, but settled into a rhythm and contributed massively to Chelsea's dominant performance. The combination of these 3 was too much for Barcelona to handle. De Jong, Eric Garcia, and Fermin Lopez simply couldn't cope with the intensity, the pressing, and the quality that Chelsea's midfield trio brought to the game. Now let's talk about the battle everyone was waiting for. Marc Cucurella versus Lamine Yamal. The 2 Spanish teammates facing off, the experienced defender against the teenage superstar. And guess what? Cucurella absolutely pocketed him. Before the match, Cucurella had joked about how Lamine probably withdrew from Spain duty because he told him how he'd start doing his homework in training ahead of this game. Well, turns out it wasn't a joke. Cucurella was prepared, focused, and he completely shut down one of the most exciting young players in world football. Yamal is supposed to be unstoppable. He's the player who's tearing up La Liga, the kid who won the Ballon d'Or at just 18 years old. But on Tuesday night at Stamford Bridge, he was anonymous. Cucurella locked him up with ease, proving once again why he's one of the best defenders in Europe. The Spanish left back didn't just defend well, he also contributed in the final third. That low cross into the 6-yard box that led to Jules Kounde's own goal came from Cucurella beating Barcelona's high line. He was unorthodox at times, but Yamal was completely tamed. Every time the teenage winger tried to get past him, Cucurella was there. Every time Yamal tried to cut inside, Cucurella blocked the path. It was a defensive masterclass, and Cucurella deserves all the praise for winning that duel convincingly. Here's a question for you. Did Estevao or Lamine Yamal have the better performance in the Battle of the Wonder Kids? Let us know in the comments, because this is getting spicy. Speaking of Wonder Kids, let's talk about Estevao Willian. The 18-year-old Brazilian absolutely stole the show. This was supposed to be the battle between him and Yamal, the 2 best teenagers in world football going head to head. And Estevao won that battle hands down. His goal in the 55th minute was pure magic. He received the ball from Reece James, held off pressure from Pau Cubarsí and Alejandro Balde, and then from an acute angle blasted the ball into the roof of the net with his weaker right foot. The technique, the composure, the audacity to even attempt that shot, it was all world class. But it wasn't just about the goal. Estevao created chances throughout the match. He skipped past Balde and Kubarsi multiple times, like they weren't even there. His dribbling, his pace, his decision-making, everything was on point. He proved there is substance behind all the comparisons between himself and Yamal. While the Spanish teenager had a quiet night, the Brazilian put on a show under the lights of the Champions League. This is what Chelsea paid big money for when they signed him from Palmeiras, and he's delivering in the biggest moments. The young winger continues to shine, and if he keeps improving at this rate, he can absolutely reach Yamal's level and maybe even surpass it. The fourth thing we learned was that Chelsea's defense is rock solid. Wesley Fofana and Trevoh Chalobah formed a partnership at center back that was absolutely impenetrable. Robert Lewandowski is one of the greatest strikers of this generation. The man has scored hundreds of goals, won everything there is to win, and is still banging them in for Barcelona. But on Tuesday night, he was completely caged. Fofana and Chalobah gave him absolutely nothing to work with. Every time the Polish striker tried to make a run, they were there. Every time he tried to drop deep and link up play, they followed him. Every time Barcelona tried to play the ball into his feet, they intercepted it. Fofana was particularly brilliant. He was strong in the air, aggressive in his tackling, and calm on the ball. Chalobah matched his partner's intensity and showed why Maresca trusts him in these big matches. The two of them barely put a foot wrong all night. Robert Sanchez behind them had such a quiet night that you'd think Burnley tested him more at the weekend, which they did. Barcelona barely created any clear chances, and a huge part of that was down to how solid the center-back partnership was. Even when Barcelona went down to 10 men after Ronald Araujo's red card just before halftime, Chelsea's defense stayed switched on and professional. Lewandowski must have had nightmares about those two after the match because they gave him an absolutely torrid time. Do you think Fofana and Chalobah should be Chelsea's starting center-back partnership going forward, or would you prefer other combinations? Drop your thoughts below. Now, here's the really interesting tactical lesson from this match. Barcelona's high line got absolutely torn apart. Hansi Flick's system relies on playing a very high defensive line, using the offside trap to catch opponents. It's worked brilliantly for them in La Liga, but against Chelsea's pace and quality, it was a disaster waiting to happen. The Blues exploited that high line ruthlessly all night long. In fact, Chelsea had 4 goals disallowed for offside before they finally got 2 that counted. Enzo Fernandez had 2 goals ruled out in the first half. The first one, after just 3 minutes, was chalked off because Wesley Fofana handled the ball in the build-up. The second one, around the 24th minute, was disallowed because Trevoh Chalobah was marginally offside when the free kick was swung in. Then in the second half, Andre Santos had a goal ruled out because Alejandro Garnacho was offside in the build-up. That's 3 disallowed goals, all coming because Chelsea kept getting in behind Barcelona's defensive line and forcing those tight offside calls. But here's where it gets interesting. 2 of Chelsea's actual goals came after VAR reviews confirmed they had successfully beaten the offside trap. The opening goal saw Marc Cucurella avoid the offside flag before his cross led to Koundé's own goal. Barcelona claimed he was offside, but VAR proved he was onside. Then, Liam Delap's goal in the 73rd minute was initially flagged for offside. The linesman's flag went up immediately, but Enzo Maresca knew it was tight. VAR checked it and found that Enzo Fernandez, who played the pass, was actually onside when he received the ball, meaning Delap's goal stood. Chelsea finally got rewarded for cracking the code of Barcelona's high line. The tactical lesson here is massive. Chelsea showed that if you have pace, quality, and timing, you can absolutely destroy a high defensive line. Pedro Neto as the false 9 kept making runs in behind. Garnacho and Estevao on the wings kept threatening with their speed, and Barcelona's defenders couldn't keep up. They kept playing that high line even when they went down to 10 men, and Chelsea kept punishing them for it. It reminded so many people of that famous match against Tottenham back in November 2023 when Ange Postecoglou refused to drop his defensive line despite being down to 9 men and Chelsea destroyed them. Barcelona made the same stubborn mistake. Final question for you guys. Should Barcelona abandon the highline system after this embarrassment? Or is it still the right approach that just needs better execution? We want to hear what you think. This 3-0 victory moves Chelsea up to 4th in the Champions League phase table. They're now in a strong position to finish in the top 8 and qualify automatically for the round of 16 without having to play those extra playoff matches. More importantly, this performance showed that Chelsea can compete with anyone in Europe. They dominated Barcelona, the Spanish and Cup champions, made them look ordinary, and did it with style. The midfield was world class. Cucurella won his battle against Yamal. Estevao delivered when it mattered most. The defense was rock solid, and the high line was systematically destroyed. These 5 lessons tell you everything you need to know about where Chelsea are right now. This is a young, hungry, talented team that's only going to get better as the season goes on. And the best part? They have Arsenal at Stamford Bridge this Sunday. If they can produce another performance like this against the Premier League leaders, then everyone will have to start taking Chelsea's title challenge seriously. The Blues are back, baby. And they're not going anywhere. Thanks for reading, Chelsea fans. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell us which of these 5 lessons impressed you the most. Were you more amazed by the midfield dominance, Cucurella's defensive masterclass, Estevao's brilliance, the solid defense, or the way we cracked Barcelona's high line? Drop your comments below and let's celebrate this massive victory together. Come on, you Blues.